So she spoke out. She said she was going to kind of, I don't know, spill the beans about what happened with her way back in the day. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about.
Huh?
It's old Virginia, and
Virginia. That's
God
right.
rest her soul. And seems a little fishy.
I know. Weird, right? It seems
Fishy.
like here she's like, I got 4 days to live. I'm in this bus crash, which was weird in and of itself.
Mhm.
And then she's starting to speak out a little bit more. She seems like she's fine. Has a text or a tweet that she says that she's not suicidal. And then all of a sudden she dies of suicide. Yesterday, day before, a couple days ago, whatever it was. Not fishy at all, as far as I can tell. How about
No.
you? Well, we're going to jump into that and we'll see what's kind of going on and kind of give our 2 cents, because I don't know about you, buddy, but I ain't buying this.
Just like Barnes' shirt says, question everything, gang. And that's what we're here to do. And that's what we're going to do today.
That's what we're going to do today. So let's dive into this right now. Oh, man. This is a weird one, man. This kind of hit me weird. I mean, because we were just talking about this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Virginia Guifree, the Epstein accuser, the gal who was in that famous picture with Prince Andrew.
By the way, real quick, Barn, this is for entertainment purposes only, and neither I, myself, or Barn are suicidal.
Good point.
Just putting that out there.
Just putting it out there.
We are comfortable with our lives. We love our lives. We love our jobs. We
know nothing. We know nothing about this. Nothing. We're just commenting on what we're seeing. So we're not providing any information that's going to be, damning to anybody.
We're just flipping through stuff that's already.
But we're just saying, was it interesting that she's got into this? But before we get into this, we want to just say, hey, check out our merch store, therudebarn.etsy.com. Right there, we got some really cool stuff on the screen here, and purchases go to help build the show and allow us to do this more and more, because we absolutely love it. We got hats,
you know what, gang, though, too, and I don't mean to there's
a shirt I'm wearing right there.
Catholic guilt, everybody, because the Pope just died, but Barn has put in some serious hard work putting on this all together. So go buy something.
Yeah, please. It's not. We're literally not making very much on this. Just a couple bucks off of each one, because I want to make it as affordable as we can, and that's just the deal. And we're not making it much, but you know what? Every little bit helps. And we got our question. I love these questions. I got this one shirt as well. And I think
well, here's another thing too, Barn. Is when we make it big. If you folks out there go buy something now, you can say that you got something when we were small, and you can be the envy of all your friends.
Little people.
You'll be the envy of all your friends.
Wait, we got the Fauci shirt, the mad scientist. I am science. Okay, we've got the Black Cherries shirt. These are great shirts for summertime now. The different colors, things like that. Apparently, stuff for guys, stuff for girls, funny stuff. We got anyway. Check it out. Please help support the show and do that. We also have our good friends over at Bearded Viking.
Bearded Viking Mead, where you can buy the best bathtub hooch around.
Bathtub hooch.
We are distributed in a couple different states right now, which is super awesome. You can buy it online, shipped straight to your door in most states.
Those pretty balls. Anyway, so Virginia Guifree. There's a couple ways that everybody's pronouncing it. We'll pronounce it both ways, because one of them may be right. And it's sad because she had the cojones to go out there and actually put her life on the line, and we saw that she did. And unfortunately, she is no longer with us, as most of us probably know by now. And it's really sad, but this whole case is ultra strange. And she had settled with Prince Andrew a few years ago. Can't remember, 2021 or was it before that? I can't remember the date exactly. It'll probably be in here. And got enough retirement money, go away money, be quiet money, and see ya. And she did.
Go live your life money. Yeah.
She lived somewhere around the Perth area in Western Australia. Had a husband. They had, I guess, gotten divorced or were separated or something like that in between. And then here's the weird thing, dude. She got in some bus accident, which was really freaking weird and strange, because it's like in a bus accident. And if you remember this story, it was about a month ago, give or take. She was in a bus collision look at this, in the middle of freaking nowhere. Yeah, I mean, the chances of two vehicles crashing on a deserted highway, Chitna Road, is odd just to begin with. But apparently what it was a school bus. 29 kids traveling behind the car for 3 kilometers at about 75 kilometers an hour, which translates to 55, 60 miles an hour, give or take. The car slows down and the bus driver goes to overtake the car. Apparently the driver of the car then turns into a property without the signal, without the blinkers. Don't know why. If there's a bus behind you, let them know what you're going to do, and maybe this wouldn't happen. I don't know. Yeah, the bus driver, of course, beeps because he's probably going a little too fast in the middle of nowhere with all these kids. And that's just brilliant in and of itself. Why are you traveling so close behind a car with 29 kids in your bus? That seems awfully odd. And then he beeps the horn. Now, this type of road doesn't seem like this well-traveled that he could have gone around her, but he ends up clipping the back of the car. So then both the bus and the car pull over. They both get out and check. Well, I guess he checks on her, on the motorist, which apparently is Virginia. And then it says the car sustains minor damage and both vehicles drive off. Which is fine. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
No damage.
That happens.
Got hurt. But then all of a sudden we see this shot of her from the hospital somewhere near Perth. The news about Epstein's victim, Virginia Guifree, supposedly committing suicide really makes the last photo of her looking way the F off.
The F off. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, are we supposed to believe this is a selfie? And the timing of this is just really weird. But if both vehicles were fine and they both drive off, how did she sustain all of this bruising and slight minor lacerations and things like that, where she's telling everybody, I have 4 days to live? You remember that?
Yeah.
I have 4 days to live.
That was kind of the
what's up with that?
what made my ears perk.
Yeah.
Like 4 days to live? Wait, what?
Right, from some random accident with a bus in the middle of nowhere.
And how would you know that it was like, okay, 4 days? I mean, that's...
Yeah. Why 4? Why 5? Why not a week? Why not
just, limited time? Yeah, I mean, I don't know why the number came out. That was
I have 104 hours and 23 minutes to live.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Who told her that? What doctor said that? I don't know.
Yeah. You might want to tweet out that you have 4 days to live. 27 minutes.
Yeah, because that's what you
yeah.
Because tweeting is the most important thing to do when you have 4 days.
Yeah.
Right.
So then this person showed the pic you shared is allegedly being taken after being hit in a car by a bus traveling at 110 kilometers an hour, which is more like 70 to 75 miles an hour.
70, 80, yeah.
Okay. So now we're getting a couple different reports there. So things are, and this is just some person tweeting this, but they must have found this information somewhere. And all of that. So then, you have all these people, chiming in, which they should, because I don't think anybody believes this shit, because this is what she also put in here. She tweeted, I am making it, this is from Virginia herself, I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I suicidal. Okay, I don't think that she's hemming and hawing and kind of, wavering about this statement. She's pretty much emphatically saying, just like we did at the beginning of the show, we are not suicidal. I am not
Definitely
suicidal.
Not suicidal.
At all. She goes, I have made this known to my therapist and general practitioner. If something happens to me, little foreshadowing there, in the sake of my family, do not let this go, which is why we're talking about this.
We're not letting it go.
We're not going to let it go. You may have seen a ton of reports on this. We're going to be yet another one, putting it out there, because this is just there's some major bullshit going on, and we can't let this continue, because the people, if those who are involved, who have been involved with things like this, and let's face reality, let's go back to JFK's assassination, let's go back to RFK, let's go back to Martin Luther King, let's go back to all of the Clinton victims in that list that we can go down of 70 to who knows however many people mysteriously died of suicide, of gunshot wounds with no blood around them at all, by the way.
Yeah.
And things like that.
The self-inflicted gunshot wound to the back of the head. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to wonder, we cannot continue letting this go unabated without people being held accountable for this, because it's when you're exposing people and you have people in power, and let's just say, for example, Prince Andrew didn't really want to get this out and then settled with this thing, and then she still said something, and then all of a sudden it's like Princess Diana. Remember her back in 1997 in the Paris underground, going underneath the
that's what this whole thing reminded me of, Barn, was Diana, and I'm glad you brought that up, because the thing is that was so shady, and it got swept under the rug so quickly that that you had to ask questions. It was like, wait, what?
Like,
and then by the time everybody caught up, it was swept under the rug, and it was non-topic. We couldn't talk about it.
Yeah. And if you said anything against it, you were the conspiracy theorist, a CIA coined term, by the way, back.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was like, that was the definition of conspiracy theory, was saying something that opposed the narrative that was given to everybody. Well, that was kind of forced upon everybody. So in that sense, you're damn right, I'll be the conspiracy theorist. But now, with the amount of information feeds that come at us on a daily and we have access to, we really kind of get another look at what's really going on here. And I think that the point you brought up about asking questions about these evil people, which she coined in her tweet, it really needs to be done to get some exposition.
Her death should not be in vain over this, because when somebody does something wrong and you call them out on it, and then all of a sudden they slander you, they call you, they accuse you of what they're doing, and then for some reason you all of a sudden change your tune, or you are no longer around. You know what I mean? Somebody said something to influence you to not continue doing what you're doing because they're guilty of sin, most likely. Of course, that's just mere speculation, because I don't know what's going on. I'm just saying, sure seems like it to me, as well as it does to many, many other people.
Yeah.
Right. So this person writes, the crash was no minor crash. The bus driver only called it in to the police as a formality. And the driver didn't recall her even being in the car. The accident, she claimed, left her with a few days to live. What? So apparently this Mr. Munns, I'm guessing he's the bus driver, said he did not realize that there had been a passenger in the car, and was shocked to see Miss Guifree's claim on Instagram. It's all just blown out of proportion. And I know what happened. I didn't even see her in the car. It's amazing. He didn't even see her in the car. Well, if you're not looking in the car, maybe that's why you didn't see her, or you're lying. The driver basically pulled out in front of me, he said. So are you going to say something on that?
No. I was just going to say that, but I thought they got out and assessed the damage.
Well, that's the whole point of what we're doing. We're getting mixed messages now. Mm-hmm. We're getting one person saying one thing, and now this other is saying another. So what's going on? And this is just the bus accident from a month or so ago.
Yeah.
Prior to all this, we haven't even gotten into the suicide.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically say, the driver says, basically, I pulled out in front of me. I made sure she was all right, and I went and did the police report. She was elderly, and I asked if she was okay. She said, yes, I'm okay. I asked if she lived at the property the car turned into. She said, no, I'm a carer. So she must be like an in-home nurse or something like that. Mm-hmm. I told her she needs to be putting her indicator light on so she knows to turn. That's all the conversation we had. And then she asked about the kids on the bus, and everybody was fine. It wasn't a major crash. So why are we looking at pictures of her like this?
He said that she was elderly.
Was that the driver and Virginia was the passenger? That's what I'm wondering. Yeah. Because why does she look like this then? If it wasn't a major crash and everybody seemed to be okay, why is she looking like she just got in a car crash and almost killed?
Yeah, that's pretty. To be that damaged from a car crash, just for, I guess, argument's sake. I was in a car crash when I was 16, and I hit the windshield, and got pretty
cuts and scrapes,
pretty hammered up. Yeah. However, not that hammered up.
Well, I was also in a crash back in September. Yeah, and I mean, it totaled my car. The front end buckled up. I mean, the hood was like this, and it was smashed in. I can't remember if I showed you pictures of it, but yeah, I'm still reeling from some of the effects of it that still linger to today. And got some, vertigo, waking up a little dizzy in the mornings that come and go every month or so, every couple of weeks. It depends on it. It's not regular, but it just like, oh, damn it, I thought it was over, and here it is again. I never had that shit before. Never had vertigo issues. So it was a pretty good crash. Now, if this was something I couldn't drive. They had to tow my car. It was totaled, dude.
Yeah, same here. I was on the freeway. I got hit at 70. I was almost at a complete stop because traffic had stopped in front of me. Yeah. The person behind me didn't see or wasn't paying attention or whatever, and rear-ended me going like 70, right?
Yeah, mine was like 45. Kind of so yeah, I know what.
Completely totaled. Had to be taken away in an ambulance, right?
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
And just like yours, like it completely totaled the car. But were the injuries that you sustained as bad as what she's looking like?
No, that's the thing. It took a couple days for the effect, the neck, the back, the headaches. I had to go through a whole MRI. Exactly. And I found out I was worse. I thought I was okay because the adrenaline was flowing right there.
Oh yeah, and the adrenaline, flows for like a couple days.
Yeah, and I thought I was fine and all that. And no, it wasn't. And if you've ever been in a wreck, you know this. Right. Anybody who's ever been in an accident, who gets out, oh, everybody okay? I'm fine. Yeah, no, I'm okay, man. But that shit hits you a couple days later.
Right, and that's what they say, like, don't sign anything, don't do anything. You wait, and see how you feel. Go get the MRIs, go get checked out, all this, because, like you said, the adrenaline's flowing so much, and it will for a couple days, but when that wears off, then the effects start to hit you, like, really hard. Right. And really fast.
And so, to this point, we were at a stop and being hit, respectively, 45 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour. And I didn't get banged up like that. I didn't have bruising. I didn't have this. It was all a lot more internal stuff. Head knocked around, CTE type of thing. Hopefully not that, but just the effects. That looked like she didn't have a seatbelt on, like she was hit. Same thing, like they were stopped, but it didn't sound like they were stopped. It sounded like they were slowing down to turn into the property, and the bus clipped them from behind. Why he didn't go out and around them, I have no... What are you doing driving 70, 75 miles an hour with 30 kids in your freaking bus, and you're not paying attention? And even though a car is slowing down, you don't have to see the brake lights or a signal indicator to know to slow down because you're coming up on the other vehicle.
Yeah.
What
so
the
you
hell
just
were
like take your foot off the gas at least,
Yeah.
and be like, okay, what are they gonna do? Do I need to make a maneuver here, or whatever? I would like to see a reenactment of this, because even if you put her in the driver's seat or the passenger seat, especially if you put her in the passenger seat, there's no way that she could have sustained these injuries. The driver's seat, maybe, if she hit like the
do they drive on the same side of the road we do, or are they more like England where
positive.
they drive on the other side?
But yeah, but it really looks like she just got, pulled out of a car and beat up in an alley. That's what she looks like. This looks like she was deliberately beaten. This looks like this is like
what happened to her years ago with that stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, don't get me wrong on this one.
Exactly.
But this looks like a woman who has been beat by an abusive man. You know what I mean? And you hear about and you see this kind of thing all the time, which is unfortunate and not right. But at the same time, she looks like a battered woman.
Yeah.
She doesn't look like a woman who has gotten in a car accident.
Well, and that also begs the question then, because she was getting divorced from her husband down there in Australia. And I don't know. I'm just speculating, because it's like, it's probably nothing. I think he was a loving husband. I think they pretty much had a good relationship for the most part. And I don't know why they were getting divorced. Maybe it was just maybe I can't be involved with somebody who's involved with Epstein, because I don't want to get suicided as well. I'm just saying. So maybe that, I don't know. I'm just speculating. Okay, but it makes you wonder. But this whole thing seems so sus.
Yeah.
Kids love this thing. And it's really weird. But this all started with the whole bus thing, and then we hear this 4 days to live that she's talking about and all this. And you're just like, what in the hell? Puts out this statement that, and there's the famous picture with Prince Andrew.
Pop it back up.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to pull that back up. There we go. All right. So here's the, let me go back. Yeah. So there's the suicide note. There's the tweet.
Suicidal note.
The non-suicidal note, as we should say. And then the famous picture, everybody's seen this a million times, and it's just like, what a creepy creepoid this guy is. And look at this one right here, who's in a luxury prison, would probably be able to get out and walk around all the time. I mean, it's like Club Med for prisons that she's in, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But this does not look like a minor accident where nobody got hurt and everything was fine, and the bus driver drives away and then files a report later. It's just like I said, it's just suspicious. They're going over 70 miles an hour when they hit. I don't know, dude. There's just so much weird ass shit going on with this. And then all of a sudden, here it is a month later after she does these interviews, and we have one where she gets on there with the Today Show. And we'll play that here in a second. But look at this. Here, again, I'm making it publicly known in no way, shape, or form am I suicidal. Well, if she's saying that, people, then aren't we supposed to believe all women? Remember that? Believe all women. What happened to that? Because anybody who's saying that this is bullshit, who's a woman, who's in Congress, Mazie Hironai from Hawaii. You gotta believe all women. Yeah, because women never lie. Ever. But in this case, I'm sorry, I kind of tend to believe her. Well, I am going to believe all women, or these her, right? So
Well,
something's weird.
Doing something like that is almost like kind of a, to me, it almost seems like a reverse call for help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you see, typically with people who are considering self-harm, you see kind of patterns, right?
Yeah.
And they will call out, I guess,
they'll kind of let you know what they're thinking.
Yeah, like in different ways.
To like help me in a sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And this was just, it was a cry for help, but in the opposite form.
Right.
And it just seemed like nobody bit. And why didn't they bite? Because maybe there was something to hide.
Well, like we said before, you know, if you got something to hide, you accuse everybody else, or you quash the story, you hide it, you don't give it any airtime. This guy brings up an interesting point, though. This Peter Morgan, the Pope's funeral will camouflage this story. Convenient timing, isn't it? You know, we're gonna get into that one here in a second. I gotta do a coincidence in this point because it's it's just so.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think these things happened at the same time.
It is a coincidence, even though we don't.
Yeah, I don't believe in coincidence. But I don't know if they would have went to the extreme to be like, okay, let's make sure, like, if this story is coming out, we got to kill the Pope because we got to cover up the story. You know what I mean?
That was J.D. Vance did it. He killed the Pope. We all know this. You know? I mean, talk about coincidence. He just happens to visit the Pope, and then throw it out there.
But he just switched to Catholicism, didn't he?
I think
Old
so.
JD.
I don't know. It's interesting. I think they got lucky.
Yeah, I think they
demented weird sense. Oh, thank God the Pope died, because now we can push that out. The funeral, this, that, and now they're going to have the conclave. They're going to do all this stuff. Get the white smoke, black smoke until they pick a new papa. Cool. And so they, I think, got kind of lucky. This is why we wanted to bring this story back to the forefront, as well as a bunch of other people are as well. Yeah. Because I don't want this getting lost in the Pope.
Yeah,
story.
I don't want to get buried.
No. So this is. This is the Today Show interview of her. NBC News exclusive, by the way, just so you know. They had to put that right there.
Uh-huh.
And let's listen to this. It's only 52 seconds. And we'll comment as we go through here, because we have an interesting take that we were talking about before the show on this. Let's just check this out.
I was so young. Keelan woke me up in the morning and said, "You're going to meet a prince today." I didn't know at that point that I was going to be trafficked to that prince. And then that night, Prince Andrew came to her house in London, and we went out to Tramp. Prince Andrew got me alcohol. It was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, "Let's dance together." And I was like, okay. And we leave Tramp.
Okay, we mentioned, I don't know what's going on with this look.
Yeah.
It's like okay, what is it? It's a look of disgust, contempt for Virginia, or is it a contempt for Epstein and what happened to Virginia? One of those two. Or she was told by the higher ups to be, like you said, emotionless. Don't show any emotion to this story. Let her say her piece. Then that way we've checked the box off that we've reported on the story. Type of that.
Don't give your opinion. Don't lead. Don't follow.
But the resting bitch face has me confused right here.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know what she's doing. Let's continue on with this, and then we got some more to go through.
Yeah. And I hop in the car with Ghislaine and Jeffrey, and Ghislaine said he's coming back to the house.
Ghislaine is how you pronounce Ghislaine.
And I want you to do for him what you do for Epstein. I just couldn't believe it.
Isn't that gross?
Now what?
We can all imagine what she's talking
about. Yeah. What does that consist of? I mean, just open a book and that whatever's in there. That's what.
Yeah, read him a bedtime story. Is that what we're doing? Not sure that's it, but I could be wrong. Just saying.
Be the maid, the babysitter, and the vixen. I don't know.
Yeah, and then wear the nurse outfit for Halloween.
I couldn't believe that even royalty were involved.
Royalty, dude. You know, isn't it the more and more you start learning about the royal family and the shit and the literal and figurative incestuous activities going on in there, that they're just disgusting people over there.
It is, and it's so.
In my opinion, I mean, I'm just not suicidal.
It's right, not suicidal. It's so dark that you see these people and is it? I guess my question though too, Barn, is it like a is it just a little fun club, like what they do for fun, or is it like something just kind of innate and inbred that they have to do? And this goes back to like what we
bring up an interesting point.
Yeah, we've talked about this to where these evil people are evil in so many ways that they have to complete certain tasks, drink blood, do all this kind of thing,
kind of like making it a game in a sense.
Not only even a game, like that's what I'm asking. Like, is it just this kind of boys club that's just playing this game, or is it like something that they are holden to do for their family, for their longevity's sake,
for their entertainment? Well, you bring up an excellent point, and I have a thought on that. Oddly enough, I think you get to a point, and these people really, because they don't actually do anything with the everyday lawmaking, everyday enforcement. I mean, they have really nothing or not much to do with the running of the government in England. Okay, so they have all this wealth thrust upon them since they were born.
Yeah,
they have really not much to do, as far as I can tell. I might be wrong. Please comment in the comment section below and let me know how wrong I am, and how much important work they really do on a daily basis to help run the government of England and the United Kingdom, Great Britain in general, other than showing up for pomp and circumstance of all these different events they have to do, and the parades and the Easter parade, and then this, that, or whatever it is they're doing, and then the weddings. I mean, really, but every day, what do you think they're doing? I have so much money, I don't ever have to work. It's like, have you ever been in a fairly rich neighborhood, or seen these rich neighborhoods where these kids have everything? They're given Mercedes and Ferraris as kids, 16-year-old and 18-year-old kids or whatever, and they can just drive around and they crash it. A lot of them continue this elitist attitude that they are so much better than everybody else. They don't have time to talk to us plebeians, as peon morons, minions, and they are so much better that they think they can do and get away with anything, because a lot of times they do. They're protected by their parents, are protected by the people that their parents pay off, maybe, or
they
grease
have this
the wheels, grease the palms of.
It's an untouchable status that you are virtually untouchable. You can do whatever you want with zero consequence.
Oh yeah, impunity, man. Yeah. They take it to the nth degree level because they have the money and the ability to do it. They're not going to get in trouble. So instead of just, little pranks, these little pranks are now super huge life and death define pranks that are at the expense of other people's lives.
Yes, I totally agree, and I could see you were going there with that. Like, it's not just throwing eggs at people's
Right.
houses and toilet papering anymore. Like, it's gone to the point to where, like you said, these pranks and these games get so far out of control that it comes down to a life and death situation for somebody else. That's what do you call it? Like an unfortunate, I wouldn't say bystander because they get into the mix, but at the same time,
collateral damage.
Collateral damage. Yeah.
Well, we'll go on because there's an interesting news report from the BBC, which I have coming up after this, but we'll check this one out real quick, and then we'll get into that one because the BBC is bought and paid for, arm of the royal family as well. And so you'll hear some things in there, and we'll stop and comment as we go through. I haven't heard the whole thing, but I've heard snippets of which I put out and like, there you go. And this exactly what we just said. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you're complicit in helping get these people off and just shoving it under the rug and all that. It's amazing. Here, let's check this out real quick first.
The most prominent accusers of disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein has died. Virginia Guifree dedicated her life trying to get Epstein and his enablers to face justice. NBC's Stephanie Goss has more.
When the scope of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes finally came to light, Virginia Guifree was the woman at the center of the story, publicly sharing painful details of her own experience. In a statement, her family announcing the 41-year-old mother of 3 took her own life. Guifree said she was recruited by Epstein's girlfriend Ghislaine Maxwell when she was just 14 years old. According to Guifree, it was the start of years of sexual abuse by Epstein, Maxwell, and their friends.
It was that constant, we own the police.
What did we just talk about?
You can't tell anybody. We'll never be held accountable for this.
At age 17, Guifree said Maxwell and Epstein directed her to have sex multiple times with Prince Andrew, an allegation the prince denied. Guifree sued, and she settled with the prince in 2022, receiving an undisclosed...
Yeah, there you go, 2022. That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
My math serves me correctly.
Well, and this
3 years ago.
Yeah, and this is for stuff they're talking about that happened 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, it goes on with a little bit more on that one, but it kind of gives you the idea that, this is the thing. Here's, we don't really need to watch another one of those. Let's get right back into the BBC interview or the news story that they had right there, because this, we're going to comment through this. It's about a 5-minute long video. And then we have like 1 or 2 other little ones, and then we'll wrap this up. But this was rather interesting, and it just goes on to we own the police, we own the media, we own everything. You can't do anything about it. We're untouchable. And this is kind of confirmed, and this is kind of why I don't like things like the BBC. They don't have free press, just kind of like we would be, only the free press, but not our major media news outlets. But it's like the BBC and maybe 1 or 2 other stations over there. It's crazy, even though they have several channels for the BBC and things like that, I guess. Please let me know if they've got more, but this is what I understand. And if I'm wrong, please let me know. And I'd love to, be educated about that. Do that. So let's listen to this, because we'll make comments as we go through. And if you see something that I haven't, stop me. Say, hey, stop that for a second. I want to comment. Let me know.
Yeah, I haven't seen this. Yeah.
Virginia Guifree, who accused Prince Andrew of sexual assault, has died. Her family say that she took her own life at her home in Australia. She was 41. Last month, it was reported she'd been in a serious car crash.
Stop right there. Right there, that reporter said that her family reported.
Oh, yeah.
That she offed herself.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
That's right there creates the narrative. Right?
Well, if her family said she did, why would they lie?
Yeah, it's legit, right?
Hey, Tony, why would I lie? You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Even after she tweeted this stuff that said, I am not suicidal, then her family, quote unquote, comes out to tell the BBC. Nah, horseshit.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
Who was paid? Who was influenced to say that?
Exactly.
Disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein and his friend Ghislaine Maxwell had trafficked her when she was 17. Prince Andrew denied all the
Okay. Now, they said trafficked her when she was 17. Didn't we just hear the story that they said they trafficked her when she was 14?
Yeah, that's when it started. That's what she said.
Yeah. So now we're getting two different stories here. Well, I mean, she was almost 18. I mean, she was almost an adult at that point. So really, what was wrong?
Isn't trafficking just terrible and to begin with? Like, we're
She was
just
so
gonna,
close to being an adult.
yeah, like, and they're just going to like just graze past that.
Oh yeah,
just graze past the trafficking thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she's almost an adult. She can be, passed around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, 17 is almost 18.
She can make the decision to get out if she wanted to, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
accusations against him, but reached an out-of-court settlement with her in 2022. Katie Watson reports.
Katie.
Virginia Guifree was one of the most prominent accusers of Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced US financier accused of running a vast sex trafficking network. Guifree claimed she was trafficked by him and forced to have sex with the Duke of York. This photo of them together, now infamous. Prince Andrew, though, has always denied the accusations. He reached an out-of-court settlement with her in 2022 that contained no admission of liability or apology. In an interview with Panorama in 2019...
Okay. In all fairness, I will give him the benefit of the doubt that he wanted to settle with her and that maybe nothing happened. Okay. And he settled and said, okay, here's X amount of millions of dollars or whatever. Zip it. Keep your mouth shut. This is why I'm paying you. So you can just, it's go away money.
Isn't settling, though, Barn, an admission of guilt?
No, because we talked about this before with Trump and Stormy Daniels. Remember that? If we're going to be consistent, we need to be consistent, is all I'm thinking. We said, okay, not admitting guilt, but paying somebody off to say, okay, you know what, it's cheaper, easier, less hassle for both of us if I just pay you X amount of dollars, no admission of guilt, but you keep quiet and you zip it and you don't say anything more. That's what it's supposed to be. Hush money, if we all remember the hush money trial. So with being consistent, if we're going to say that about Trump, then I will, benefit of the doubt, say the same thing about Andrew. Because I think it's consistent. Does that make sense?
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Good call on that. But I don't like hush money.
I don't either.
I don't like
it. It does look like guilt. Yes.
It does look like guilt. I didn't like it with Trump, and I don't like it here. I like anywhere you see it. I don't like it because, on both sides. Because if you were so inept to accuse somebody of something, just for, I guess, money's sake, or to maybe I don't know, get your point out there or whatever, you're climbing for something, right? And 9 times out of 10 it's money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you get your money, and then okay, cool, great, shut the fuck up, move on with your life, get out of here. You got what you wanted, go away. And for, I don't know, and then on the other side though too, it's like, if you didn't do what was being accused of, why wouldn't you just keep fighting it and fighting it and fighting it? Now I understand, people that are in these kind of positions like Trump, and when you get to that status, I mean, everybody that you've ever had contact with starts coming out of the woodwork to try to get a piece of the pie, right?
Yep.
And you're gonna have that.
Eugene Carroll.
But at the same, but at the same time, it's like if you weren't guilty, wouldn't you just keep fighting it? But anyway, I mean, I guess that's my take on hush money.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I agree, and we said that before also, but we also said, you know what, but we have to give we don't know what exactly happened. But here's a difference I see as well, and so therefore I may step slightly back on that comment, because here's the difference. Stormy Daniels was way over 21 years old at the time. Consenting adult, consenting to payment, I don't know, whatever. Trump, if you did it, fine. Who cares? Nobody gives a shit. If you did this to your wife and you went out and you had this little affair with this, hooch.
My name is Paul, and that's just between y'all. Yeah, exactly.
Right. But this is a 14 to 17-year-old, an underage girl.
Yeah.
And the stakes are a lot different and a lot higher. And it's not, oh, well, you were two consenting adults. And, if you didn't know, you're talking a minor,
Yeah.
Statutory rape at this point, paid sexual trafficking to a minor. That's a lot different than what Trump did.
It is a lot
Let's
different.
be fair.
You're right. It is a lot different, and it's bigly different, and you get different consequences on both sides, and that's where we go back to say these games
That they're playing, yes.
really turn evil really quick when you dip your toe in a little too far. You know what I mean?
You realize you effed up bigly. Yeah. Let's listen to some more of this here.
She stood by the accusations.
He knows what happened. I know what happened. And there's only one of us telling the truth.
In a statement, Virginia Giuffre's family said she was a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse and sex trafficking. She was the light that lifted so many survivors. In the end, the toll of abuse is so heavy.
I hate those statements. She was a fierce warrior that to fight for it. Okay.
I got something to say about
overly
that.
verbose.
If you want to keep going, I got something to say about that.
Okay.
That it became unbearable for Virginia to handle its weight. We know that she is with the angels. Born in the US, the 41-year-old had recently been living with her children and husband close to Perth, but recent reports suggest the couple had split after 22 years of marriage. Early this month, she posted on Instagram to say that she'd been seriously injured in a car accident, which her family later said she had not intended to make public.
Then what happened with that?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think that's horse shit. That they said that the weight was too much to bear. No, it's
she's
not.
been dealing with this her whole life. She's got it.
And if you become an advocate for something like this, and you're the
you don't let it go.
Yeah, for so many saviors, you don't let it go.
Yeah.
You are a soldier in this war.
You're a fierce soldier, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
No, I bet you have to be. You don't just start this. Put yourself on the line. Put your life on the line. Put your family on the line, and then just drop it.
Yeah.
Unless something or somebody influenced you to a point where you had no choice.
Exactly.
Or were given no choice, and now you're no longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's move a little bit more on this, because I want to kind of get to the point where the original anchor lady talks about a couple things.
Local police later disputed the severity of the crash. Western Australia police say they are not treating her death as suspicious. Katie Watson,
Why? Why are they not?
Yeah. Why do they just said, it's not suspicious at all.
We're not even going to go down that road. We're not going down that path.
Have.
It's not suspicious. Let's
already
just not even bother investigating it.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Are you kidding me? What kind of shoddy ass police work is this?
Well, it's par for the course for their police work, dude. They're fucking terrible.
Oi, we got a real problem. They're bouncing all over the place, eh? Right? I mean,
it reminds me of.
Where's my didgeridoo? I got to play that right now. I mean, I don't know what accent that is, but anyway, I had it. I lost
that was Australian.
But then it went to Cockney in Britain. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm shocked with the lack of professionalism. We've got ourselves Inspector Clouseau on the case.
If you guys
on this in Perth
listening know who the Andes are, Cartwright and Wainwright, you'll know what we're talking about.
Oh my god! All right, let's listen a little bit more. This is a reporter from Sydney who's talking to the BBC reporter. I just jumped ahead on this a little bit, and let's see what he has to say about this whole thing. We'll probably make a couple quick comments, and then we'll wrap this up.
And tell us more about this car accident. She said that she'd been seriously injured.
This was a post on Instagram in the last month or so, and these are just suppositions, but perhaps when you look into the details of that post online, it may give an indication of the fragility of her state of mind.
Okay, fragility of her state of mind. They're trying to paint a picture here. Quite interesting. Listen to what they're saying, everyone. And he repeats this again, so let's listen some more.
Virginia Guifree had said that she'd been involved in a very serious car accident to such a degree that she said online that she only had a few days to live. So there was enormous concern by the people close to her and other people about her physical and mental state. And what was interesting,
just painted a little bit more of the picture, and are you getting the whole picture yet? Where we're going?
That's the thing, like the mental state thing. Now I'm even kind of wondering whether she even made that post that she had 4 days to live, and if that picture was even real. I mean, it's nuts what we can do with anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody can do with AI these days.
I did, and I don't have it here, but I did hear, and maybe I'll drop it in, and then when I edit this, but I did hear her from her mouth say she had 4 days to live. And so I'll drop that in here if I can find that during the edit. But she did say that. So I don't know why she did. I don't know what her point was of saying that, but it was really bizarre.
Yeah, and that's kind of a thing. Like again,
how would she know only 4 days?
Yeah, we asked the question in the beginning. How would she know 4 days? So that leads me to believe that her life was threatened, and they said, we're gonna you won't be alive in 4 days, and that was the only reason why she put it out, and that's why the mental state went nuts. But it wasn't there before. You know what I mean? I don't know.
When he goes on, listen a little bit more, and he kind of goes into that, and they try to weave this story even a little bit more. So here, check this out.
The police in Western Australia downplayed the severity of that accident, but of course her death will be investigated by the authorities in Western Australia. And once again, this is only supposition, but having an episode like that so public in the last few weeks ago does perhaps indicate the fragility of her mental state. And her family say that she fought this heroic fight against sexual abuse and took her life by suicide, and she was 41 years of age.
Phil, for the moment, thank you very much, Phil Mercer in Sydney.
Did it not look like he was reading that? Like, his eyes were very cold. It looked like he was reading something, and he was almost... Go back just a little bit, dude. Go back for his last little segment there, and look how cold, and like look at his posture, because it almost looks like he is he's reading something.
Yeah,
like he's almost quote unquote being prompted. He has to read this. And like his shoulder posture, I don't know, man. I'm just getting a weird vibe from it, because it almost seems like there's a fucking gun to his head.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right? On the other side of this camera,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Right.
With
Or the
the-
proverbial guy. Right. All right. So
Right.
let's listen to it from here
Just,
again.
Having
just-
an episode
Yeah.
like that so public in the last few weeks ago does perhaps indicate the fragility of her mental state. And her
they're
family say that,
saying that
she
again.
fought this heroic fight against sexual abuse and took her life by suicide. And she was 41 years of age.
Phil, for the moment, thank you very much.
Yeah, and they said she felt the weight of this. Again, it's like,
yeah,
this is, you don't go through this 20 some odd years of this, and then in this short period of time, all of a sudden you're like,
just throw
Oh.
your hands up about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you don't do that, dude.
you take a little time off, maybe recharge
Sure.
the batteries, and get back in and come back in with another game plan on how you're going to approach this. Get some help from some people who can help you. Maybe something. It seems awfully strange.
Yeah, you just don't fold under the weight of
Yeah.
this that you are basically a patriot in, you know?
Yeah.
That you just don't.
So much weird
That's not
stuff
how-
about this. I feel
That's not how
so
the
bad
human
for her.
psyche works. I do
Yeah.
too.
I feel bad that here we go again. We have another person. And this is why I'm like, okay, Pam Bondi, Ash Patel, where the fuck are the Epstein files, the Epstein list, and all this shit? What the hell are we waiting for? How many more people like her, all of these witnesses, how many more of them have to die? I'm not going to beat around. I'm so sick and tired of YouTube and their bullshit. You can't say suicide. You can't say killed. Shut up.
Yeah.
We're adults. We can handle it. They unalived themselves. No. They committed suicide. Let's not be pansy ass little bitches and let's call it what it is. We're not beating around the bush here.
Well,
how many more
and I
people
think-
have to die and be killed or die of suicide before we start getting this shit out and getting the people in prison who need to be in prison?
Well, I agree with you, Barn, and I think that that's part of the narrative that they're putting on us as well. I mean, because even this free source media that we enjoy, you're still, censored in one way or another, and we're censored because
Who are we
of
protecting?
the narrative that needs to be protected, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the sad thing about this. Obviously, I mean, led to, her being killed. I don't think she committed suicide. I think she was killed.
Please.
And
Not at all.
and you look at the reality of the situation, and with the, you're talking about Bondi and Patel, with those names that are on there. I honestly think that these people think that they are still untouchable, because even if they release certain names, those people are going to fight it, and it may be a long drawn out, court battle or whatever the hell. And so they've got 10, 15 years at least of, immunity until they're held accountable. And by then, what are these people going to be, like 90?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
And
I know.
what are you going to do with a 90-year-old that was a key part in a sex trafficking ring? The only thing that you can do is try to find out who they had involved that down the line that were younger, and and try to wrap these rings up and end them. But what are you gonna do with a 95-year-old person that was involved in this shit, and they're just gonna sit back and it's just in their fucking sickness, and they're just gonna revel in that, and they got away with it.
Yes,
It
and they
makes
all
me
do,
sick.
and they will continue to. And here's the sad part. Here's the part that's frustrating, that just makes us all disgusted with this whole thing, is that this shit's gone on forever. It's going to go on forever. There is this weird ass, sick, psychotic desire for this type of behavior. And
games, the reindeer games.
The games these guys play. Because it's like, okay, well, who all can we get in our back pocket? Who all can we get away with? We have the news media, we have the police, we have the government, we have all these big. We're untouchable. Let's see what we can get away with, and they'll continue.
Yeah, see how far we can go.
Yeah. How much more control can we have over these people, these women, these girls, these little girls and boys for that matter? And what can we do to get away with it? You try to get one group, you get Epstein. Okay, well, he was supposedly knocked himself off in that prison cell. I think maybe there's a possibility he's still alive somewhere.
Oh yeah, I think he is.
I hate to say it. He could be dead, but there's a possibility he is still alive.
For some reason, unbeknownst to any of us, see, there's key people in key places, right?
Yeah.
And I think for some reason, he has something on somebody. Well, he has something on a lot of people, but there's a certain, I don't know, there's a certain something about what he has, what knowledge he has, or what evidence he has, or whatever he has, that I believe they're protecting him in a lot of ways. Absolutely. And I think that you're right. I don't think he's dead. I think he's on another island somewhere, and they're fucking redoing it all over again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's what I think.
I think this is it's almost a futile battle.
It is.
It needs to be fought, but it's going to be futile, unfortunately. And I hope that they will. I hope somebody finally goes down, but they won't. And that's the thing that's so frustrating, is that we're not going to see it resolved. We're not going to see people go to prison. This activity will continue on. More and more children will be abducted, used for sex trafficking for all of these elitists and politicians and royalty, kings and whatever around the world. And it's going to continue, unfortunately. And that's why this is so frustrating. But if we don't keep this out there, her journey, her goal, her mission, unfortunately, will never come to fruition of what she wanted to accomplish. And that's putting these people behind bars who abused her all those years. And then it's sad. It makes me sick that it'll never change, unfortunately. Sorry for the somber, sad, depressing message here at the end, but it's the reality of the situation.
But at the same time, it is it's a beacon, again, to say that, for the positive fight that we all need to fight. And I think that,
and we have to, yeah, you're right.
And it's something that we all need to, anytime we can, put a foot in to this battle, because it is absolutely terrible. And if nobody steps up and we don't stop it, it's just going to keep going, just like you said.
And it's going to get worse and worse.
And,
worse.
And I'm sad to say, and I'm not going to mention the foundation that I worked with, but they were a leading, a leading force in bringing a lot of these people down, and really getting in on the inside, and I did work for them, and like I said, I'm not suicidal. This is just my opinion, and this is for entertainment purposes only. Absolutely. However, that company that I worked with, I did some artwork for them and all that, and I got involved in their foundation and did some work, and really it was very, 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 very eye-opening
I was gonna say, yeah.
Because you can hear what you hear in the media, you can see what you see on Reddit and Discord and all this kind of stuff. But once you kind
Tip
of
of the
really,
iceberg.
yeah, that is really the tip of the iceberg, and it goes so deep. And the disgusting thing is, to me, is the man that ran this foundation. He got slandered, and
if it's who I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He's been accused of some stuff, and it really kind of brought the whole thing to a halt.
Yeah, because you haven't heard anything more about it.
Right, and I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't heard his name in a little while. Through those circles that we've worked with, but at the same time, I don't believe he's suicidal at all, and he might end up the same way that Virginia did, and it's fucking terrible. So we just gotta keep fighting the good fight, Barn.
Yeah, exactly, and we can't give it up. Unfortunately, we have to. So, well, thanks, gang, for joining us. Hopefully, give us some comments below about what you think of this whole story. What you think, is Epstein still alive? Did Virginia off herself? Or was she coerced into doing that? And what really happened with that bus accident and the bumbling, detectives in the, Perth Police Department or wherever it was, Western Australia, and why they couldn't do their job, and why we're getting 17 different stories about that, because something ain't right. And, it sucks that these people, like the royal families and the major politicians and world leaders and the Rothschild type of families around the world who have more money than they know what to do with, can get away with anything, because who's going to stop them? They own everybody. But that's just merely our opinion that, this may not work. Again, we don't know. We're just speculating from what we're seeing and bringing it out and asking questions and hoping that you will ask some questions as well, saying, wait a minute, that doesn't totally sound right. So anyway, thanks for joining us, y'all. Go check out our merch store, therudebarn.etsy.com. Once again, help us out, keep this show going, and we appreciate you, and we'll see you all real soon.